From where you're standing and as you watch these events unfold, what is your personal reaction to all of this?
Well, my personal view of this is very different from the views I have heard very recently. There is not at all a majority of Catalans who support the independence. There were not at all a general violence of Spanish police against peaceful voters on the 1st of October. There were 90 interventions of the Spanish police which had the order of a judge backing their acting against the referendum, which was an illegal referendum, and they found that people were obstructing this order of the judge, were committing a criminal offense under Spanish laws. And in spite of that, the action of the police was a very limited one. We have seen a couple of pictures. They say there are 900 people injured, but they haven't been able to prove more or less than 2 or 3 people with real injuries. So, I mean, all the things that they are saying simply are not true, that they are repeating all the time, but this is not true. That was not a referendum because, apart from being against all the Spanish law, the existing law, the rules, even if we accept that there was a Catalan law covering this referendum, the laws were changed that very morning. That very morning they changed the Catalan law who was covering the referendum, that was covering the referendum. There were people who were able to vote 4 or 5 times. I mean, all these things they are saying simply they are not true. And what now we find is that against the will of many Catalans, with the support of a referendum with no guarantees, they have declared independence.
Lorenzo, that's what I want. Lorenzo, let me just stop you there because obviously we've got limited time and there's a couple of other questions I want to ask you. I mean, the thing is, as I hear you speak and as I hear that Catalan politicians speak, it just reflects the polarisation that has occurred within Spain as a result of this crisis. So with that in mind, are you concerned about the future of your country, especially given that economically things have turned around in the last 12 to 18 months? You know, you've managed to climb your way out of one of the worst economic depressions the country had seen in many years. I mean, are you fearful for the future of Spain?
Well, more than fearful, I'm concerned. As you said before, this is a very serious situation. This is a very serious break of the rule of law in our country. Now the Spanish government has to act. They have to act, first of all, because they have to protect thousands of Spanish citizens who live in Catalonia, whose rights have been ignored and who deserve the protection of their state. If the action of the Spanish government that has been agreed with the majority of the Spanish parliament is effective, if they are able to contain this rebellion, in fact this is a rebellion in our country, perhaps we can end with this shortly, at least this moment of crisis, and for sure, we must open a negotiation, a real and serious negotiation, a real and serious dialogue where everyone is willing to give up something in order to reach the agreement, and that negotiation, that dialogue will end in a reform of the Constitution and hopefully in a redesign of the place of Catalonia in the framework of the Spanish Constitution of the Spanish nation. And why not? Why not? I am not against the recognition of a Catalan nation, which can work with solidarity with the rest of Spain. But they simply don't accept that there is a majority in Catalan population which is supporting the independence. This is the adventure of a part of the Catalan society. They have ignored the rights of dissidents, and this is simply something which is not acceptable under European law, under international standards, and under the rule of law.
Lorenzo Silva, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Lorenzo Silva, a Spanish author there in Madrid, clearly very much concerned by events unfolding there in Barcelona and also in Madrid.